But before he asks, could we or can you mention when you're going to be having the ribbon cutting? Now, that's coming up quite soon, and a lot of people are getting anxious about this.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. We're in the middle of preparations for a big celebration at Court Street Square. It's going to be at 10 a.m. on, I believe that's Wednesday, April 22nd. I believe that is a Wednesday. So it'll be similar to the same location as our groundbreaking ceremony in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be kind of like a pep rally for two cities, in celebration of the completion of a major project that we believe will help transform San Bernardino and Loma Linda.
David, are we going to have to bring our own food and drinks?
No, they'll be provided, and
really?
Yeah, there'll be refreshments, and actually, we have a number of different people from different areas of the corridor that will be participating in the opening portion of the ceremony. We're going to have some of the SBX vehicles, bringing them actually out to the event.
Uh-huh.
We're hoping to involve cheerleaders, bands. Who knows? Maybe Ronald McDonald will be out there. Just people that are emblematic of some of the major points of interest on East Street hospitality.
My last question for right now is, when is this all going to go live? And is there a free time for rides to get people a few freebies to get used to it, or are we skipping that?
Absolutely. Yeah, the start date is April 28th, which is the following Monday. And there will be all rides will be free that entire week. So there will be no fare charged.
Starting on April 28th, you said?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And
so
week.
That whole week, the final week of April, first week of May.
That'll let everybody get a taste of it then.
Exactly. And even when fare or revenue service starts operating, the fare will be no different than the fixed route service. And we'll be having ambassadors on the station platforms assisting customers on getting used to some of the new amenities, like the ticket vending machines and the variable message signs, so that they can get the experience of what it's like to have the convenience of boarding on a rapid transit service.
Very good. Bev?
And so, David, thank you so much for this time. And I've been looking at the clock here. Phones are getting backed up. And can I have you back on the show again?
Absolutely. Just let us know. We'll be glad to update you on what's going on.
I certainly...
really excited about prospects for San Bernardino and Loma Linda's future.
Yes, and thank you so much for this time, and I'll call you next week.
Great. Have a good week.
Okay, honey.
Thank you, David.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Cliff, you're up. So, Cliff, how can somebody get rid of all them little pests that are running around their yards?
Get rid of all of them?
Yes, including the in-laws and the outlaws.
No, we don't deal with those.
Oh.
They have to have two pair of legs or more, so that rules them out. You're probably never going to get rid of all the pests and insects, but to control them, get the numbers down, most definitely helps. Unfortunately, with the weather we've had this year, where it's been pretty mild, they're going to hit the ground running a lot sooner. Maybe as soon as the end of this month, the beginning of next month, as opposed to May or June, which we saw before. So unless we get some really cold weather again, you may see a lot of ants and spiders and the oriental roaches, or the water bugs, what people call them, earwigs. You're probably going to start seeing those in just a few weeks in great numbers when they start breeding fast. They don't have a calendar like we have. They go by the weather patterns. So,
and this weather's been so screwy, and even the flowers have been blooming earlier than what they should. Now, if one sees some of these little pests coming around, and they figured, they can spray it with this or that, the other thing, what's the best way? Just call you immediately, isn't it?
Well, it's always best to call up a pest professional. However, people do try to do it themselves, and just they need to realize that more is not better. that they need to use it in moderation. I mean, we take care of we work on the challenges of not getting this into our water. We have patterns that we spray in. We try not to spray on the hardscapes anymore, which would be your driveways and your sidewalks where when they hose off the driveways or it rains, it goes into the gutter and then right out to the river and the ocean. So they need to be aware of that if they want to try it themselves. But, to get the best results, you need to call us. I mean, of course.
Yes, call them. And everybody that is listening to this program through the United States, 137 countries, out in Mars and Venus, and everybody that's listening.
You left out Pluto.
And Pluto, okay. I knew Cliff for a very long time, and my hands down to him. He does, and he takes care of my yard, and he gets rid of them little pesty gophers and all the other stuff that starts jumping around. And so I give him my stamp of approval. So boys and girls, when you hear this, listen to what I'm telling you all. Call this person. Really, honest. Call this person.
He'll give the bugs the eviction notice.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
Yeah,
for sure.
That'll make him angry.
And then the other thing, Cliff, I heard this. I know it's an old wives' tale. I tried it one time. And they said if you have ants that come into your house, you take cucumbers and you peel the skin off the cucumber and put the green part of the peel on the counter and keep the white part up, and that will take care of the ants. Is that true or false?
Well, I've never heard that, so I don't know. If it was proven, it'd probably be in some book somewhere. So,
yes.
No, I've never heard that, so I don't know. You're better off running chalk across there if you want, because at least that'll, damage them. So I don't know that cucumber juice is there in the gardens all the time. So
yeah, that's what I said. And then the other thing, hang on, the other thing that I did try, and it worked for about a day and a half, is that you put a third of vinegar in a plastic container and fill it halfway up with water. Shake it, and you spray the area where the ants are coming. And for some reason, it lasted for a day and a half.
Well, so would, counter cleaner with ammonia in it. So it'll last for a day or two also. But again,
I would think you can import some uncles and have the ants chase them out the door.
Yeah, that would be kind of cute.
That's the ant from Uncle or something like that.
And so now tell us, since this weather's been so screwy and everything is coming out earlier, and these little pests are coming out earlier, what should one expect to see happen? Are we going to get really hit with them hard this year, or what are the do's and don'ts on all of this?
I just think it's going to be more like, a lot of times in June, July is when you start to see the large numbers of ants or maybe earwigs or maybe even a little earlier. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to see it into March, into April, for sure by May. So it just means the season may hit sooner. Now, nothing would be nicer than, a few cold, rainy, freeze days. And I still make money because it runs them in the house. And so I'll make money doing it. But it will also help slow it down. So,
and then the other thing I wanted to ask you, a lot of my neighbors have dogs and cats. I'm not home long enough to have a dog and a cat, so forget it. But they let their animals out. Now, what are the do's and the don'ts, what the owner should do to protect their pets outside before you get there?
I can only speak for what, we do. Once the pesticide that we use dries, it's relatively safe for the animals. I mean, it's a pesticide. Nothing's perfectly safe. Nothing's perfectly harmless. However, it's relatively safe. So once it dries, you shouldn't have a problem with your animals going back out. So quite honestly, I just tell the customer that they need to keep the dog away. A lot of dogs run around the backyard because they don't want to be around you. But just once it dries and once it's over 80 degrees, it dries in a couple of minutes. So we're not putting out a gallon. We're not washing the house down like they did 20 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Well, when the sprinklers come on and it gets wet again, does it reactivate it somewhat to help it keep doing?
Actually, that's what we're talking about with water quality. We want to try to limit the runoffs. So a lot of times we ask the customers to shut their water, their irrigation off the day we spray, so it does have a chance to work, or even 2 days, and then by then, a lot of times the sun will break it down some. We don't want it washing down the street. So again, the irrigation actually has an adverse effect on the protection of the house.
That makes sense. And one of the things that I was really impressed about you, well, the first time I met you at one of the meetings that we had, and then when you first started coming to the property and taking care of them gophers and all that other, and it seems like when one house has gophers, they jump from house to house to house. It's like your relatives, and your in-laws, and like this. And by the time they get up the street, they turn around and come back down again. Now, what should one do? You come, you take care of them pests, right? And it's weekly or every 2 weeks, however it has to work, right? Are there do's and don'ts that the owner should do in their property on certain plants and in their gardens and what have you?
Not really. It depends on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with gophers, then you just got to be careful what you plant and where, and that's not a big deal there.
What do they like?
They'll eat anything.
Okay.
I mean, I guess they don't particularly like marigolds, from what I've heard. I don't know. I don't know many that'll eat garlic, but again, we're not going to be planting all that. So, some people put little wire cages around their plants, especially if you live in like Ukaipa, where they, that must be the city.
Well, they drive us crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of them up there. So,
I think they fly them in on 747s and land them in the millions.
But just mainly work with it. It's more teamwork, because I'm not there every day. So if we treat and then a week or two they show up again, then you call, and that works the same with the ants. That's why we guarantee it. We just basically say we'll take care of it. If there's a problem in between, we'll come back.
Well, we're trying to get the neighbors to have you come to their house because the gophers are there and they come back to us. We spray, they got new ones coming from next door.
Well, we don't spray for gophers, but we treat.
Give them nice treats to eat.
Yeah, just have the neighbors move. They can take the doggies with them.
Take the gophers with them.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you, why we got you here, let's bump out your contact information.
Okay, yeah, like I said, it's Cliff's Pest Control, Inc. We're at 3165 June Street in San Bernardino, but mainly the phone number, 909-887-1862. That's 909-887-1862. And give us a call.
You've been there how long?
We've been in business since 1972.
So I think you know what you're doing.
I'm learning.
Yeah, and he's getting better all the time.
Yes.
Yes. And it's here. Now, one more question, because I know you got to go. You're on a very tight time schedule. Is there one kind of pest that you do not touch?
That we don't touch? No, but we don't do a lot of bed bug work. I just don't have the manpower and the staffing to do it. We do some, but we also refer that out sometimes. But for regular insects, we pretty much handle most of them. We don't do a lot of wild animals.
And so, no in-laws or outlaws.
And we keep the outlaws out of it.
Darn.
Son of a gun. Somebody's going to come up with
that. We can make you a lot of money.
Yes.
Can we do it legally? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Figure out a way.
And, Cliff, before you have to leave, thank you again for taking time out of your schedule to be here today. I really appreciate it. Is there one big thing you'd like everybody to know?
You mean other than the fact that we have the license to kill?
Yes.
Only
pests. Only pests, guys. Yeah. Let's get that perfectly clear.
Kill the varmints.
Yes.
We try to do good quality work and keep the customers happy. And, my name's on the company, so I kind of have to stand by it. I mean, that's more or less our motto.
Okay, one more time.